What is up, my friends? It is Tuesday and it is the Anfield Agenda News Roundup. Quite a bit to go through over the next few minutes. One of them regarding a bombshell that has been dropped in the Premier League's lap about Manchester City. I'll go through that in more detail. We're going to be talking a little bit about Coop Miners, a little bit about Inacio, but in the main we're going to be talking about Liverpool and Standard Chartered and the potential problem there, as well as the Manchester City situation. So before I get stuck into it all and ask you for your opinion, just got to remind you that the tickets for our two live shows are moving really fast. We've sold about 70-75% for the Liverpool show, and we're at about 60% for the Cardiff show. So if you would like to come along and see us, I wouldn't hang around. These tickets, thankfully for me, are moving nice and quickly, and if you'd like to come along, they're priced at just £15. They're all ages shows, meaning everybody is welcome to come along, and you can get your tickets with the link in the description of this video. Hope to see you on the night. We're going to have two great shows, and they are going to be the last two live shows that we do. Right, let's get into the transfer talk, and the first one is a bit of a contradiction from what Fabrizio Romano posted yesterday. This piece from David Lynch said that Liverpool are not considering a move for Sporting centre-back Gonzalo Inacio this summer. The latest links are thought to be an attempt to generate interest in the player who's long been touted with a move to the Premier League. I'm kind of relieved about this. While I don't mind the idea of Liverpool signing Inacio, it would have just ate away at me that we could have got him for 20 million less last summer. So it doesn't surprise me that Liverpool aren't interested. And I am on the David Lynch side of this against the Fabrizio Romano side. I do believe that Liverpool, if they really wanted him, would have done that business last year and saved themselves 20 million quid. So we'll wait and see what all plays out. But as I said, I do think David Lynch's piece on this is probably more close to the truth than the Fabrizio Romano interest, which I'm sure there is, but I think that interest is waning as the weeks go by. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is a bit of a problem for Liverpool with Standard Chartered. Now, this has to be played out in court in America, but we got to bring it to you because if we're going to talk about other clubs' dirty laundry, we've kind of got to discuss our own. Now, the headline of this piece said Liverpool's main sponsor, Standard Chartered, have been accused in a US court filing of helping fund terrorist groups. Now, the piece in itself says that up to 100 billion has gone through accounts helping to fund the causes that we spoke about. I'm not going to go into it in more detail because it's obviously a very sensitive subject, but I do want to bring it up and sort of address it because we can't talk about other clubs without mentioning our own in this situation. I'm interested to see how Liverpool react to it. I'm interested to see what happens in that court over in the US, but we will keep you up to date with the outcome of it. And on that, wouldn't it be lovely to hear a little bit from Arne Slot? Now, I wish I had something to say to you today about that, but at the moment, I don't. We've one more transfer story, though, before we get into the Manchester City stuff. And do hang around, because this Manchester City news is absolutely incredible. So wait with me. So this piece here said, tying Coop Miners reaches verbal agreement amid Liverpool links. But it isn't with Liverpool. The piece goes on to say that it is Juventus that have reached verbal agreement with Coop Miners over a potential deal to move to Turin. Now, what they'd have to do, of course, is come up with the £51 million that it is rumoured that Atalanta would want for his services. Is that because they're going to sell Federico Chiesa? Well, it might be. He's gone into the last year of his Juventus contract, and it looks like he has no interest in signing a new one. We did hold a poll last night on the channel, and again, we will be live at 8:30 tonight if you want to join us, where we're going to go through all of this in more detail. But we held a poll on Chiesa last night. The price tag has been rumoured to be about £21 million, and we asked the Anfield Agenda audience, would you like to sign Chiesa for £20 million? And 82% said yes. So, and I'd be in that 82%, to be honest with you. I think at that price it's an incredible deal. So I'm going to start off by reading you out this article that comes in from the Times. It is a hard-hitting piece that basically said that the Premier League could be in civil war after these. Manchester City are suing the Premier League for damages and also arguing that the league's democratic system of requiring at least 14 clubs, or two-thirds of those who vote, to implement rule changes gives the majority unacceptable levels of control. They accuse rival clubs of discrimination against Gulf ownership, citing the comments of one particular senior club executive. This is disgusting to me, my friends. It's like they just keep saying, what about, and not dealing with the actual facts. Now it looks like they're trying to bombard the Premier League with more legal headaches before their hearing. Oh, and by the way, this piece does say when that hearing will be. It said that Manchester City's hearing for those 115 charges. That's right, 115 charges. That hearing will take place in November. So that has been announced in this Times piece. Another outlet, or another segment I should say, from this says millions are being spent on legal fees to fight this case. One senior club source said the Premier League's legal bill has more than quadrupled in the past year, from about 5 million to north of 20 million pound. They also point to the fact that since February, the Premier League's own legal department has been forced to shift its focus to this claim when it is also trying to prepare for the hearing into Manchester City's 115 charges. They go on to say this is clearly a tactic. City have certainly spared no expense in their potential groundbreaking legal fight. They have appointed 3 KCs, with Lord Panic supported by Paul Harris and Rob Williams, a 4th senior barrister who specialises in competition and regulatory law. David Gregory is also on Manchester City's team. Now this is an important part, so listen up to what I'm about to say. In their claim, Manchester City argue that the current rules will limit their ability to buy the best players and force them to charge fans more for tickets. They say they also have to cut spending on youth development, women's football and community programmes. Premier League clubs have a scheduled meeting in Harrogate on Thursday, and Manchester City did not respond from the Times when they were asked for comment on this piece. So they're crying about not being able to buy the best players in the world. Yeah, they are clearly buying the best players in the world. They're crying about stuff that every other Premier League club has to deal with. They even go in and argue that the fair market value, which is what the Premier League assesses for any sponsorship deal and for any transfers, they go on to argue that that is restricting their ability to get even bigger sponsorships. The whole thing, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, has been a farce from start to finish. I'm absolutely sick to death of Manchester City grubbying the Premier League with all of this and many more things, and I hope that they are held to account. It is very much, in my opinion, a case of we're just going to keep bombarding you with stuff, throwing money at legal expenses, pointing the finger at other Premier League clubs. Now, they go on to talk about the 14 clubs that have to vote to pass anything as being unfair. In my opinion, that's a pretty democratic process, right? You've got 20 teams in the Premier League, they all have a vote, and 14 of them need to vote something through. Remember, 20 Premier League teams aren't always the same teams. Every year, 3 come up, 3 go down. So it is just a nonsense to me that Manchester City are doing this. Go and have a look on social media and you'll see the same reaction from many other football fans. This is nothing short of disgusting, in my opinion, and I'm very much looking forward to the day that Manchester City are held to account for these 115 charges and many other things that will probably come to light over the course of the next few seasons. So I want to know your take on it all. Yes, guilty until proven innocent, but there's already been 115 charges labelled at them. They've already been found guilty of other stuff with UEFA as well in the past, and I'm just fed up with them. I'm fed up with them just trying to find every which way, and when they're basically playing the race card here by saying that there's a problem with other Premier League clubs because of Gulf owners and Gulf sponsorships, I think it's disgusting. But I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comment section. I hope to see you tonight at 8:30 for the late night agenda, where we'll go through all of this in far more detail and answer any questions you have. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.